Supreme Court is expected to consider whether it'll take up a case that could impact the future of same-sex marriages. Now, the court's landmark ruling legalized those marriages nationwide in 2015.
Yeah, but in that same year, a county clerk from Kentucky, Kim Davis, made national headlines when she refused to issue a marriage license to a gay couple, citing religious reasons. The couple filed a lawsuit against Davis, saying she violated their constitutional right to marry. But Davis argued that issuing a marriage license would have violated her right to freely exercise her religion.
Now, after a decade of litigation, Davis is now asking the Supreme Court to hear her appeal. Our Taylor Bruck joins us now with where things stand. Taylor, good morning.
Good morning. This legal battle has taken years. It's involved lawsuits, even jail time, and of course appeals that have led us to today. Davis is now asking the nation's highest court to hear her appeal. Davis has lost all appeals in lower courts, including in the United States Court of Appeals for the Sixth Circuit earlier this year. This makes her liable for nearly $360,000 in damages and legal fees to that same-sex couple that she denied a marriage license to back in 2015. But Davis continues to push back. She came to the Supreme Court this summer asking the justices to review the Sixth Circuit's decision. Davis's attorneys are also asking the court to use her case as a vehicle to overturn Obergefell versus Hodges, which we know legalized same-sex marriage nationwide. So today, the Supreme Court will be considering her request. Here's Dwayne Stewart from the nonprofit Equality Ohio.
You know, the Supreme Court is reviewing her request, just like the thousands of requests that are submitted to the Supreme Court, a small number of which make it through. Like, this process is not out of the ordinary. But this moment is very disappointing, and it's causing a lot of very dangerous rhetoric, even though this case has a slim chance of moving forward.
Conservative lawmakers in multiple states and religious organizations like the Southern Baptist Convention have introduced measures stating marriage should only be between a man and a woman, encouraging the Supreme Court to reconsider Obergefell. The SBC's website even states, quote, "We affirm God's plan for marriage and sexual intimacy, one man and one woman for life," going on to say homosexuality is not a valid alternative lifestyle. So at this point, if the court denies review, that would mean the lower court's ruling against Kim Davis will stand and the Obergefell precedent will remain intact. If the court grants review, that would mean the case would be scheduled for oral arguments. Let's say Kim eventually won and Obergefell were overturned. That would mean states would once again be allowed to ban same-sex marriage. So this is all hypothetical. We're going to know more soon. An announcement on whether the court will grant or deny the review could come as soon as Monday.
And Taylor, Stewart mentioned there that he thinks that there's a slim chance of this moving forward, but the Supreme Court does have a conservative majority. So what are the chances here? What are the experts saying of the court granting this review and then potentially overturning the ruling?
Yeah, so this really boils down to whether or not there are 4 votes to take up the question. Even if there are 4 justices who might be willing to do so, historically they won't grant review unless they're confident that there's a 5th vote to overturn Obergefell. No justice right now has explicitly stated a desire to overturn the case, but Justices Clarence Thomas and Samuel Alito have previously expressed strong opposition to the ruling and have hinted at reconsidering it. At this point, though, there's no clear indication that a majority of the court would vote to overturn it. But guys, America is watching this case. Gallup polling from this year shows almost 1 in 10 adults in the U.S. identify as part of the LGBTQ+ community. The Williams Institute estimates there are approximately 823,000 married same-sex couples right now in the United States. Another Gallup poll found an average of about 70% of Americans do support same-sex marriage. Democrats' support has risen to 88% over the years, independents to about 76%. But what's interesting, for Republican support, it is now at 41%, which is down from 55% in 2021. So right now, this current gap between Republicans and Democrats on this issue is the largest since Gallup began tracking this measure 29 years ago.
And we know you'll be tracking this as the story unfolds. Our Taylor Bruck.
Taylor,
Absolutely.
thank you so much.